Hello everybody, it's your girl Asia from our Rant channel. Welcome back to my channel. It always feels good to come on here and talk to you guys. You guys know I'm still in the process of moving, so like I told you guys, I will be on here to make videos that I don't have to really talk too long for. But y'all already know this channel was really based around Degrassi content. I do make other stuff outside of Degrassi, but Degrassi really is the main thing that keeps this channel up and going. I don't know how long for it's going to be, but I do know it's as long as I can always rewatch the show and see things differently. I'm pretty sure I can always put new things out there as long as y'all are willing to accept it. Just like this video today. I was watching season 12 last night. I was watching a part 1 and part 2 episode called Never Ever. You know, with Imogen's dad having Parkinson's disease or dementia. You know, him forgetting things and stuff like that. I didn't really care too much for the Imogen plot because I don't really care for Imogen. And the only reason why I'm really going to say it, because I never expressed why I don't care for Imogen's character, is because I feel like her character felt more like a plot device for Eli in season 11. So it was like, for you to bring her in and use her like a plot device for Eli and then try to make her her own character and then give her a relationship with Fiona, it's just hard for me as a viewer to really care, because at that point I was kind of over Fiona. Like, I wasn't really interested in Fiona anymore. Maybe when Fiona had the whole domestic abuse storyline in season 10, I actually liked that, and then her whole drinking, alcoholic storyline, I actually enjoyed that too. I think once she came back in season 11, after the rehab, is probably why I didn't care anymore, because it was just the build-up of her and Imogen, which is like, the build-up to Fiona and Imogen was cute, but I don't really care for neither one of them as characters, and I don't really care too much for their relationship. But yeah, the reason why I never really cared too much for the Imogen plot and Never Ever is because, like I just expressed, I always felt like her character felt like a plot device. So to try to make her her own character was really hard for me, because I feel like she was used for Eli, for real. But the main thing I really want to talk about in those episodes is the Katie, Jake, and Dalles plot. Degrassi really has this habit, especially in the newer seasons of Degrassi, of this habit of making girls look like sunshine and rainbows, making them look like victims and making it seem like they don't do anything wrong, when I have seen this shit over and over again. It's like they kind of recycled the same plot, right? With Katie, then Claire in season 13, and then even Maya in season 13, right? So the main thing about the Jake, Katie, and Dalles plot that really pisses me off is that Katie was not held accountable, nor did anybody ever call her on her bullshit on how it was okay for her to use Dalles until Jake really asked her out. Number one, can we please drop the whole, oh, guys are supposed to make the first move? Guys don't necessarily need to make the first move. If you as a woman or as a girl have a crush and you feel like the guy is never going to make that first step into asking you out, there's nothing wrong with you asking the guy out. I have done it numerous of times in high school. The only thing that's going to stop me from asking somebody out is you feeling scared of them rejecting you, which is like, yeah, I understand it when you like someone and they reject you, the shit hurts, right? Because it's like, nobody ever wants to feel rejected or feel like something's wrong with them. But at the end of the day, people that we like just don't like us back. But it's the fact that, you know, Jake and Katie had spending a lot of time, you know, when it came to them, you know, starting the whole garden for the school, right? And during that time together, Jake has grew to like Katie. Katie grew to like him too, but she expressed to Marisol that he hasn't asked her out yet, so maybe she's overthinking it. And Katie really was projecting her horrible relationship with Drew onto Jake, making it seem like he was going to do her the same way that Drew did. Well, honestly, Jake and Katie are probably one of the most healthiest relationships on the show, even though I don't really care too much for either one of their characters, because, you know, Katie always just felt there, and Jake, to me, felt like a plot device for Claire, to where it was like, once that relationship was done with him and Claire dating each other, I didn't really care for Jake as a character. I kind of always forgot he was there in season 12. My opinion, I mean, shit, he came and he just left. So it's really hard for me to like even like get to care too much for him and Katie. But I do feel like Jake and Katie is probably one of the most healthiest relationships on Degrassi, considering that they didn't really have a lot of storylines together or a lot of screen time. When you did see them, you could obviously see the love between them. So if they were in game, I'm not mad at it, even though they're not one of my favorite relationships. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be in game, if that makes sense. Because I do think Jake was a good guy to Katie, and I feel like he was what she needed. But what pisses me off with Katie is that she never really even asked Jake if he liked her. She just went off with the idea that, oh no, he didn't because he didn't ask. Like I just said, like Marisol said, you know you can ask him, or if not, if you like him, you can ask him out. There's nothing wrong with that. Like Marisol said, I want to start going on double dates. So if Jake is the first guy you like and you want to go for it before somebody else do. Jake asked Katie out. She said she had stuff to do. So he was like, okay, maybe next time. Then, when they was in class, she was talking to Dalles, and he called her girl with the dragon tattoo. You know, she was asking him if he wanted to be her partner for the class subject, and, you know, you can see Jake looking at them like, when the fuck did they start hanging out? So, as the episodes, you know, are going on, Katie and Dalles, they get more and more close to where he actually grew to actually like her because they were able to connect on their athletic side and being very competitive and things of that nature. He invited Katie out to the I-Town game. She said sure, she'll go with him. She'll go and sit in the bleachers and cheer him on and things like that. And he said he's looking forward to it. Jake saw them hanging out at the garden, and he checked her the next day and told Katie that why would she bring Dalles to their special spot. And she said, you mean the garden? He said that's something that me and you have done together. I just didn't want him there in that special spot. She told Jake he doesn't have the right to be jealous because they're not in a relationship, and he said that he understands that, but he said he would thought she would have been a little bit more smarter. You just got dumped by a jock, and yet you turn around and try to make the same old mistakes. Bitch, are you stupid? And she gonna tell Jake he doesn't need to worry about who she not and who she don't date because it's really none of his business, which I agree. He doesn't have the right to play jealous boyfriend when him and Katie never even dated. But it's not that. It's the fact that Jake knew that Katie didn't even like Dalles for real. She wasn't fucking with him for real. She just wanted to date Dalles or go after him because it was the more easier, safer option. So that's what really pissed me off, because it's like, since when in this world was it okay to leave somebody on or use someone until you really got what you wanted? Katie could have simply not put Dalles in the middle of her indecisive decision making when it came to should she ask Jake out, should she shouldn't. And then, do you know how embarrassing it is, how humiliating it is to invite someone to your house, to your hockey game, and then to look on the screen to see if they're cheering you on, just turn around and see they're kissing somebody else? Like, Katie was in the wrong, and yet nobody ever calls her out because at the end of the day she got who she really wanted. Man, fuck all of that. At the end of the day, she used Dalles. He had every right to be upset. He had every right to fuck up the garden because it's like, Katie, I actually grew to like you. If you would have told me what was up, then he would have never have participated in anything Katie had going on. Because I feel like Dalles is a character that I feel like Degrassi never really did too much with, because I feel like that cocky, confident exterior was really just a tough skin to cover up that maybe he's always go after girls that he likes a little too much that doesn't like him back. Like, that's just the type of connection I was feeling with when Katie told him that she didn't use him and that she was afraid that Jake didn't like her, so she went out with him. That she went out with Dalles instead of Jake. And then it's the fact that, you know, that it's just, I can't really explain it. Like, it's the fact that she just expected Dalles to just be okay with that information. It's like, so you want someone to be okay with the fact that you use them. You take no accountability. Like, in that conversation, she never said the words, I'm sorry. She never said sorry. She never, you know, even, like, apologized for dragging him in the middle of her indecisive decision making. She just said, oh, you know, I did like Jake, but instead of asking him, I asked you because I was afraid he didn't like me back. Where's the apology? Where is that at? There was no apology. There was no nothing. It was just, oh, yeah, I did drag you in the middle of it. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it. It's like that's what we're doing now. Like that's what we're doing, and it just seems like Degrassi has a history of doing that. Especially in the later seasons, writing female characters to be okay to be indecisive with who they want to be with. They don't take any accountability, and we as the viewer is just supposed to say, "Oh yeah, we get it because it's a woman." No, fuck all of that. Because if it was a guy who did what Katie did, y'all would be ready to hang him up by a fucking cross. Y'all be ready to hang them up by a cross. Like, say what you want about Drew, that yes, he had sex with Katie when he was drunk while he was dating Bianca. And yes, he lied. But he still apologized to Katie and Bianca. Even after the shit came out, he apologized to Bianca. He apologized to Katie when he broke up with her and told her that he never wanted things to go that far and that when he broke up with her, he was being nice. Like, he apologized even after he did what was wrong. But yet, fans get on his ass for some of the stupidity decisions he makes, even though he apologizes. But fans don't ever get on female characters' asses for doing the same shit that niggas do. Y'all don't. Y'all really don't. Like Claire and Maya in season 13. Why was it okay for Claire to drag Drew in the middle of her and Eli's bullshit and try to use Drew as an scapegoat, and then instead of trying to figure out what the real issue was, that her and Eli should not be together right here, right now, in this point in time. They need to figure out who they are as individuals. Eli needs to figure out who he is without Claire. Claire needs to figure out who she is without Eli. They had spent their whole high school lives being together that they did not know who the fuck they were apart. And instead of just saying what the real issue was, based upon of his cheating or her emotionally cheating, she tried to drag Drew in the middle of it instead of just being single and figuring her shit out. Instead, nobody ever calls her how she is the real fucking villain when it comes to the whole Eli and Drew situation. She should have never had sex with Drew, number one, especially when she knew she wanted over Eli for real, and then trying to make Drew the enemy because they had sex and he didn't want to be in a relationship. First of all, if me and you do anything, as a person, I'm allowed to say I don't want it to go that far, period. Especially when you just got a relationship and you know I really, really like you. There is no way in hell you are ready for another real committed relationship when you just got out of one. You are still emotionally tied to that person. Claire, you have been with Eli on and off since motherfucking sophomore year. You are not ready. You didn't emotionally cut yourself off from Eli. So even if her and Drew would have dated, it wouldn't have lasted because she was still emotionally attached to Eli. And they could have just given her one text, one call, and said, I'm ready for us to fix things out. She would have definitely considered it because she was so emotionally tied to him. What the fuck? So why is Drew looked at as the villain for telling Claire he doesn't want to be her rebound? It isn't like he had sex with her and didn't text or call or didn't speak to her again. He simply told her after they had sex, I'm not going to be your rebound. Why? Because you still love Eli. Like, the fuck? I don't understand your logic. And then, why doesn't anybody ever call Maya out for basically being the villain when it came to the whole Miles and Zig situation? For playing games, playing tag your it, and tugging and pulling, winning when she wanted. She liked it, Zig, but she would play with Zig's feelings. She would leave Zig on into thinking he had an opportunity, he had a chance. Just turn around and tell him, no, she's still in love with Miles, she isn't over him. So when you look at the way Miles was reacting to things, he kind of wasn't really in the wrong. It was just the way he handled things that was wrong. As for like putting a gun to Zig's head, a fake gun. Whether that bitch was real or fake, that is very, very unpredictable, impulsive decision making that would scare anyone. I 100% see why that scared Maya, because it would to any girl. Like, you're really allowing your jealousy to take control of you to where you thinking of putting fake guns to niggas' heads. But at the end of the day, everybody is always like, oh my God, Miles is going off the radar. Why would he do something like that? It ain't right. Da 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 da. But nobody ever looks at Maya and say, you know what? She the reason why he did that shit. Why? Because she wanted her and Miles' relationship to be private, even though she wanted her and Miles to date in private. And I'm always like, why? For what? You don't have no feelings for Zig, so why the fuck would he be so upset if me and you are together? Do you secretly like him? Are you secretly in love with him? Like, why the fuck is we protecting his feelings? You're my girlfriend. You don't need to protect him from shit. Period. What is you talking about? She would tug and pull and let Miles and Zig, you know, just do what they need. She definitely tug and pull. She played with Zig's feelings. And I'm not going to go too much on it because I have a Maya and Miles video coming out on why I feel like as a relationship they were not compatible and why they did not work. So anything else I want to talk about, I'm going to mention it in there, but I'm going to just leave it short and sweet. I do feel like fans do not call Maya out for basically being the villain when it comes to the whole Miles and Zig situation. Like I said, she would get mad at how Miles will react to things or how he would, react to things. When honestly, she's the reason why he would react to things, especially when it came to the whole Zig shit. She never put Zig in his place. She never told him he was overstepping his boundaries. As my friend or whatever, you can care for me when I'm in a relationship. You could be worried for my concern if I'm dating someone you don't like. But 9 times out of 10, when Zig was coming for Miles, half the time it was over nothing. It was really just jealousy. He was just upset and jealous that Miles got to date Maya before he did, when he felt like he was old or whatever the fuck he thought in his delusional ass mind. I'm going to leave it as that because I'm not going to say too much because, like I just said, I got a Maya and Miles video coming out on why I feel like as a relationship in season 13, they did not work. And I want to talk about how I felt like maybe in season 14 or maybe in next class if things were different, they probably would have worked due to them being more mature and more older. But I feel like a lot of you fans are not consistent. I feel like y'all definitely play double standards when it comes to certain situations. There's like something a guy in Degrassi could do that a girl did, and y'all would never hold her accountable because I guess now as a woman, it's okay for you to be indecisive. It's okay for you to be confused. But if you're a guy tied in between two girls, you ain't shit, you ain't nothing. Oh, you just want to pit two girls against each other. You just want to play with girls' feelings and hearts. But what about when girls do it? Whether it's not in Degrassi or whatever other form of TV show, why is it okay for girls to do it, even if they've been hurt or whatever? If you know you've been hurt and you know you're not over that pain that was in your last relationship, why even date? Why even consider it? Because it's okay to play games with people. It's not. So that's the confusion that I have. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. Why was it okay why was it okay for Katie to leave Dalles on due to her relationship being shitty, and she didn't want to go that far with Jake due to her feeling like he was going to do the same thing to her that Drew did? Why was it okay? If anybody could give me a real, legitimate fucking reason why it was okay, I will shut the fuck up about this take. Forever. You will never hear me make a video about this shit again. But until someone can give me a legitimate reason, I will never shut the fuck up. Because at the end of the day, I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm motherfucking dying. Simple as that. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm not lying. Y'all do not hold female characters in the Degrassi universe or in any teen drama universe, period, accountable to their actions of pitting two niggas against each other or really being the villain. Y'all make it seem like it's okay for a female character to be indecisive and confused, and it's okay for her to lead two people along or whatever it might be because her last relationship was rocky. It was the most painful experience she's ever had. It was heartbreaking. It was all the above. Okay, so when a guy's been through a terrible relationship or whatever the case may be, and he's not ready to date a woman, and he still does it, and he hurts her, y'all ready to hang this up? Y'all ready to hang that person up by a cross and wish him to hell, wish him to Satan, all types of stuff. But when it's a female character, y'all do not hold the same accountability. Y'all do not hold the same standard. It's okay for a woman to be confused. It's okay for a woman to play with people's feelings or whatever the case may be. It's not okay. Stop romanticizing that. Just stop it. Stop getting on one character's ass for doing the same thing a character you like would do. Period. Stop being hypocrites. Be consistent. Stop with the double standards. I'm tired of going on this motherfucking rant because it's just irritating that I have to constantly repeat myself because y'all don't get it or y'all don't understand what I'm trying to say. Or I'm just irritated because in the show, their friends or family members don't hold them accountable either. Never ever. They never call them on their bullshit. They didn't tell them how in the situation they were wrong. I don't give a fuck how hurt you are or how much pain you've been through in your last relationship. That doesn't give you the motherfucking right to use somebody else until the person you want wants you. Huh? Make it make sense. I'm done talking. I will catch you on my next rant. Peace out. I'm the fuck out of here.